Rocket League OCE Championship, proudly supported by Macca's. If my words would come out, I'd tell you this is Courier Lord and Yummy Cheese Man, and my name is Hysterics, joining you for the rest of today as we look further at getting our top 8. We just saw Lynx coming through who put on a strange but good performance, and now we're looking at one of the better matches, the upper bracket, Legacy taking on Outlaws.
What a huge match as well, and Outlaws are the huge up-and-coming team looking to take down the giants of Legacy Esports, but they've got a big problem. They've changed their roster. They've lost Adzi, and they have to make do with Stormclawed, who is their coach, who's come through. But he's a great player as well. He's always been playing at the top level.
Yep.
He's a little bit slower than Adzi, but he's very good strategically.
Well, that's the thing, right? He may have been their coach, so he's going to be the fastest adapting player to add to their team as well. And they're 3-0'd every single match so far. So it's not like they're struggling in too much of a sense. They've been doing fine.
I have to ask, does that mean the on-field coaching is going to be really good? Like, are we going to see an improvement coming through?
Yeah, by the end of it, they'll be the best team in all of OCE. At the start, they'll be terrible, but whatever.
Development, right? That's all that matters. So coming through, I mean, Outlaws have been on a ripper of a run so far, Korea. I mean, they've just been storming their way through.
Yeah, they're just like 3-0ing everyone with the back of Storm Coach. So it's going pretty well for them. And it's the beautiful thing is if they can make it to league play, as a team that literally formed with all 3 players about a week ago, they're just going to improve so fast.
Exactly. On the side, Legacy, some changes coming through as well, Cheeseman.
They had a rough off-season. You can't say that. They reformed the entire team. Soma, the front runner, the longest running player of all time in OCE, who sat at the top from the very beginning. He had to form a new team. They've had a rough off-season, but they've come into form at the perfect time.
So what was it? Like, why are they suddenly in form? Is it just a new change of players, or is it the fact that Soma's taking control?
Well, it takes time. Jake, stop being so impatient. It takes time to be good. And now, even though they were one of the big 6, now they're looking to get into the big 3.
Oy.
Oh, yeah.
They're taking down some of the top teams. They've taken down Chiefs, formerly Alpha Sydney.
For those Denial supporters?
Those Denial supporters. Denial, they no longer exist. That's how big Alpha Sydney was.
Just crushed
They've all formed new teams. But it's going to be a close match. I think Legacy here have the advantage in speed up against Outlaws, who not only are they not quite as fast, but they also aren't going to have that team synergy.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So Outlaws, are they on that much of a crushing road that Legacy are going to look like weak ants to them, Korea?
No. Legacy, I think, is going to be pretty fine. They took out Chiefs 4-1, Chiefs 4-2. They've beaten pretty much Jam and every single other top team in OC in the last fortnight. So they're going to be pretty happy, and they also haven't dropped a game going forward.
And as you said, they 3-0 all the way through up into the upper bracket, as that's a huge run for them. And we also saw earlier, Pale Horse, they've 3-0'd Noisies and Toxic. So Pale Horse are the first team to qualify for league play. Legacy and Outlaws, they're now playing to qualify for league play as well.
But let's be honest, this was expected. We were talking about it before. Pale Horse being in that top 6. We even looked at them being in the top 4, top 3, top 2, potentially. I mean, that is very ambitious of me. But Noisies and Toxic going down 0, and it's a big moment for Pale Horse.
And in the lower bracket, we've had some updates there as well.
Yep.
Of course, we did see Lynx win out, but we've also got Square 1 going through. They're waiting for this. Ground Zero and Faint. And we said earlier, Faint coming through. Whoever won between Faint and Extricity is going to have the best run here to go into league play. And it was Faint that made it.
Yeah, Faint and Extricity, for those who aren't from the OCE scene, are both bubble teams that have been playing very strongly just outside the power.
I like that phrase, bubble teams. I mean, like, what happens when you pop the bubble? Nothing? Okay, fine. Absolutely nothing. So our next game of Outlaws taking on Legacy. They've got everything on the line here. They've got an opportunity to really take it forward. I mean, I'm excited for this one because I feel like both of these teams are really performing.
And this is their chance. Legacy have obviously been a professional team for a while, but this is Outlaws' chance to become a pro with the huge influx of prize pool, with the huge influx of orgs. If you make it here into league play, and Outlaws doing that for the first time means they can take that step from being amateur into the professional competition, despite them having a great org of their own.
That's right. This is their first time coming into Rocket League. Let's see if they perform. Let's talk about predictions before we go into this next best of 5 series. Legacy taking on Outlaws. Cheeseman, let's start with you.
I think I've said everything it needs to say. Legacy are winning 3-0.
Wow. That's a big call. Korea, can you be as big as that?
I don't want to copy Yummy, so I'm going to go 3-1, but I would also be going for the 3-0.
So we think that Legacy is that much in form at the moment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see how it develops. We are shortly going to be jumping into our first game. But coming through, Outlaws and Legacy have a lot to prove here. Remember, there's a share of $25,000 US.
$1 million, dude.
I mean, that's literally $1 million.
No, production has confirmed.
Yeah.
That's the conversion rate.
$1 million. Okay.
Dollar dues. Dollars would be the American.
Yeah.
But 31,500 Australian. Like, we've never had a prize pool this big. We've never had RLCS till the start of this year either. Everything for Rocket League is just going up.
OC is huge.
OC is now NA. Or EU. We're about to find out. Legacy taking on Outlaws. This is a massive game for the upper bracket. These teams are so close to our top 8. They can smell it. And CJM, starting with him, has been very influential in our Season 3, in our off-season. And in the last championship, we didn't see enough of him. So let's see how he goes for the spot at RLCS.
Yeah, Outlaws come with such a good team of all well-known players that have come together. Storm Coach or Storm Cloud has been leading them from behind when they had Adzi on the team. You have CJM, who's played in our events before, and you also have their third player, whose name is currently evading me, who played for One More and other top teams.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, Legacy right now, let's see how they play on their defense. It's going to be a good situation here. Storm Cloud playing in a car that I haven't seen in a very long time. I like it. That's fancy. A little bit fancy. Yummy Cheeseman's nodding his head, but that's okay. Legacy in front of the goal. Good start there from Plitz. Right from the roof, Zen sets it up.
Comfortable, that's what they are. Legacy have been playing on form for the past month, and this is no different. Beating out Orion in defense and putting away that goal.
Plitz, really good rotation coming through. Legacy Esports kick it off with a bang, and Outlaws Gaming. One little mistake here is the difference. You can see the control, you can see a bit more of the concise plays coming through in comparison to our last game.
Well, that's the thing for those players in NA who are wanting to get an understanding of what it's like in OCE watching this now. Start watching Legacy to get an understanding of what our Power 6 is like.
Outlaws still on the defense. Legacy not done here. Plitz is going to hit it off the wall. This is a good touch. He comes off himself, sets it up for the rest of the Legacy Esports squad, but they won't find it. They're not done, however. Zen off of this wall, going to take it himself. It goes over the top. Plitz playing it very carefully over to Soma. He lobs the ball up. Just a nice little touch. Soft pass coming through, and Outlaws will be playing back into the defense. They're playing it very slow, but Legacy are still in front of this goal. You cannot do that. And Plitz will get another one.
Well, that's the scary thing. Passing in front of your own goal is going to be a situation that gets you punished. And when you're against a team like Legacy, they will take advantage.
Oh, Plitz. What a good shot. CJM has to step up. Orion, Outlaws Gaming now need to find these equalizing goals in game number 1. This is not the greatest start, but Cheeseman did say 3-0. You were looking at 3-1 just so you weren't copying him there. I think, it's really showing in game number 1, Korea.
Well, that's the thing. Legacy are such a long-term team, and Soma is a powerhouse, and he's picked the best players he could get available to him as well, and they're just going to run right through Outlaws.
CJM trying to dribble the ball up. This could be a good shot for Outlaws, but it's not on mark. Orion around this corner. He's going to try and forward himself. Nicely done. That's Outlaws back into the game.
Orion is one of those historical players from OCE. He was considered one of the best players of his time. So to see him coming back and showcasing that skill is what we want to see.
Off of that corner, that was just good to see. Such a better class of play in this upper bracket as well. Not to discredit anyone in that lower bracket, but you can see why these guys have had a better run. You can see why Outlaws Gaming and Legacy Esports have been crushing in their victories so far. Let's see what we do, because it is really important here that these guys take the first game. It'll start building that momentum, Korea.
That is a fabled word here at Throwdown, but let's see if Legacy can follow it up by getting these goals from all the pressure they're putting on Outlaws.
They've definitely got the position here. Outlaws Gaming have another shot, following it through. Could have been the Devo, the double tap that was necessary for them to equalize. 2 minutes 30 remaining in game number 1, and Legacy have brought it back down. Soma off the backboard will lose it to Stormcloud, and CGM pushes it up. Blitz back in time, but is he going to meet with CGM? He's playing it around this corner. There we go, Stormcloud setting it on up. The coach for Outlaws Gaming, now one of the crucial players for Outlaws Gaming. Let's see what he adds to this roster. And around this corner, Zen will bounce the ball off, taking it himself. This is very nice. The touch, 1, 2, 3, interrupted by Orion. That was really good from Outlaws Gaming, but they have to get the clear.
Yeah, that aerial intercept was a beautiful play, but if you can't get it out, you will get hit like they just did by Soma straight through the middle because all that pressure had built up.
Yeah, that was a PogChamp if I've ever seen one. Look at that. I mean, that's just clean. Yes, it is not the flashiest of play from Legacy Esports, but it is just reading one step ahead over Outlaws Gaming here.
Well, overhead is definitely the case when you look down and see all 3 of their players staring up at the ball as that goal went in.
Okay, 145. Legacy in a commanding lead in game number 1, and Outlaws Gaming really don't know what to hit them here. Soma misses the ball. Okay, this could be good for Outlaws Gaming, but Blitz gets to it first, and they have another crack at goal. And Stormcloud is not in the goal anymore. He leaves it up to Orion. He gets bumped out of the way, and Legacy are playing super aggressively here. Left over to Blitz. He's taking the ball in his lonesome. Legacy Esports keeping it down this side of the field. I love this so far from the squad. They're playing exceptionally in game 1, and they don't seem to be letting up.
Well, that's the thing. Outlaws can't break the pressure build that they're putting on them because all 3 of them camp the same corner. They can't do pass plays cross-field, and it's super easy to block whenever they go for the clear.
CGM still struggling on the defense. They can't get it out of this side of the field. CGM pops it in front of goal. I'm not sure what this is going to achieve. It's still way too slow for Outlaws Gaming, and Legacy commanding with this possession. 45 seconds, not letting it get past the midfield. But as I say that, Outlaws Gaming have finally brought it back down. What can they achieve in 40 seconds?
Well, they're playing pretty greedy now, and it's paid off. CJM taking it through straight past that defense with that 3 men coming forward.
Okay, so that's good. 35 seconds, however, to get that other equalizing goal. This is dire again from Outlaws Gaming. We talked about how important that first game is. And for Legacy Esports, who have come away, well, come up from the dead, really, after such a strange off-season, I think Outlaws Gaming are a little bit surprised here. But in the same sense, I think Legacy are surprised that they are finding it so, not easy, but commanding against the side of Outlaws Gaming.
Well, that's the thing. They have such good control over the pitch and have all that possession, but they've still conceded 2 goals against Outlaws. So for them, that'd be really scary, knowing that you've had such a dominant game and it's still been this close.
That was a great pass, a close shot. Blitz drops the ball down. Legacy aren't done here, however. Blitz tries to follow it through, but it'll be good enough. Legacy Esports have played for time, and they have played it well. And there you go. Legacy take game number 1 in one of our upper bracket series.
And this is the first game that Outlaws or Legacy have dropped total. So for them, this is the showcase.
That was it.
Yeah, this is the first game. So now we have kind of got an understanding of where they sit today relative to each other.
But look, I mean, Stormcloud didn't have the most successful series, but we saw a lot of saves coming through there as well, doing what his team needed him to do. But falling short by 1 goal, that is not what they can afford. In game 1, Legacy taking that victory, we saw, I think by Blitz, 6 shots on goals, 2 going in. It's a really good start for Legacy.
Yeah, Blitz is a bit of a monster, which is why they picked him up last season to go for the team. But the thing that I think that's important to look at is anything could happen from this point. Yes, we have Legacy having the momentum, having not dropped a game, and they're just on fire at the moment. But for Outlaws, this is the first big team they've versed today. They've gone 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, and even though they lost this one, it was 3-2. So they're going up against a Titan, and they're getting a pretty close score. So they're going to be like, this is doable.
We did say they were a rising star, right? I mean, like, you look at the roster, you look at CJM, who had, what a cracker of a season he had.
Yeah.
Man, if I haven't just insinuated, like, the bogan euthanism or whatever you call it.
Oka.
All right.
Yeah.
Put some shrimp on the barbie. Shrimp. It's called prawns. Get it into your head. We're about to jump into game number 2 now. And CJM has been a player who's improved throughout. We've just seen kick off there, and straight away Legacy are onto the good foot, doing some bad things.
And it's good to see that the possession has not changed. Legacy staying strong in the Outlaws half.
Blitz, here we go. Setting it up through center field. Orion playing with fire here. Will lose the ball finally to Zen, who tries to lob it over the top. He rolls it in, bumped out of the way. CJM bumps his own member. I mean, Outlaws Gaming, they're making some mistakes here. Not as punishing as they should be, but Legacy Esports will really know how to capitalize.
It's interesting that it was those two players that managed to do that collision, considering one of them's the coach who best knows their rotations.
It was love. It was a love tap. In Legacy Esports, this is not a love tap. This is a hurting one. I could not follow that one through. Maybe it's too early in the morning, but maybe for Legacy Esports, it's time for some killing. As they center the ball, it's over to Zen. Nice touch, tries to slide it through Outlaws Gaming. But not just yet. Legacy is still keeping up possession, and they're having some good shots while doing it.
Well, that's it. The clears coming out of Outlaws have all been small thus far, so they haven't been able to make anything of it when Legacy takes the ball back.
We saw a mistake there. Legacy Esports dropped the ball twice, and Outlaws Gaming finally get the clear and a bit of a reset coming through. CGM doing what he does best and taking the ball himself. And apparently it's not himself, it's something else, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Stormclad back in defense, good try, but Plitz has another shot. CGM recovers it. Stormclad passes it through goal. Legacy are rolling through. Really dangerous passes coming through from Outlaws Gaming, and I'm surprised that Legacy haven't scored off it yet.
Well, that big thing is that they're trying to turn it right back around. Legacy having a couple of holes in their offense has allowed Outlaws to get 2 goals last game.
Soma, the pass is in front of goal. It drops. It's going to hit the backboard, but hit by Orion. Zen coming through off the right wing. Plitz is there, and Legacy again keeping it down this side of the field. We're seeing some really good plays so far, and Plitz is not letting up. It's over to Soma. Outlaws are doing all these soft touches, but they're not good enough. Off the roof, it was both Zen and Soma ready to slam dunk that ball, and Plitz is coming through because he misses basketball.
Legacy a little bit slow on the follow-up with their third player for those rotations, because they did have that scary moment where Outlaws nearly rolled one in, and they don't want to concede those early goals when they have such strong possession of the ball.
Off the wall, Plitz bounces the ball over. This is good for Legacy. Off the center field, Zen is there. Over to Plitz. Great play, but it is saved by CJM.
I'd love to see how Outlaws have been practicing this great defense, because OCE has typically struggled with that.
Yeah, I mean, teams like Chiefs and teams like Jam Gaming have really strengthened it over the past couple of seasons, but we see these new teams, these new orgs who, yes, that is one of their many weaknesses. Legacy Esports right now, I don't think the offense is among their weakness. I think we're seeing a very different squad than we've seen in Season 3. This is more precise, this is more aggressive, and I think their attack has just grown by leaps and miles.
Yep, and they're not taking the risks, though, when they do it, which I think is important.
You can take a risk, yeah.
Most of the time, they're having one player sit more comfortably back, like we're seeing here, allowing them the time to get there safely, rather than overcommitting.
It's a good shot on goal. CJM is there. Stormclad was looking to hit it off the side. The 1-2 passing play is not really finding itself for Outlaws Gaming, but still no goal at 1:30. CJM hasn't been as aggressive. He's trying to take it off the wall. Remember, we saw that aerial dribble dropping into a goal. If he can do that again, that would be a beautiful sight to behold.
Well, the aerial dribbles and then the defense will probably come out from Outlaws, because they are not having any of it today.
Legacy playing with fire, however, they're doing the same thing that Outlaws were doing. The ball's passing through the center of the goal. Soma, lucky he was there. But Outlaws Gaming have to get back, because this is the passing play that Legacy have been so good at executing. It is interpreted and it is read out loud by Outlaws Gaming. 50 seconds remaining. Legacy, they're looking to translate once again.
Yep, Outlaws is going to really struggle to get a goal. They've relied on Legacy making those greedy mistakes, and it's not happening anymore. Legacy's playing it so safe, but keeping pressure, hoping to eventually crack the nut that is Outlaws' defense.
I mean, that's exactly right. And Legacy, here we go again. They're trying to slide it on through. Outlaws Gaming are in a bit of trouble. Zen's there. They drop the ball. And Zen goes a bit too far to the left-hand wing, but Soma, this is his shot. He bumps it over. This is nice. Really good play from Soma. The first goal, still not there. Legacy, they're not done. Plitz and CGM go head-to-head. CGM wins the butting battle, but 15 seconds remaining, and Legacy, they're not done just yet, Courier.
Wow, Outlaws on that defense was crazy. Final chance from Legacy does make it, though, with Soma taking it with 6 seconds left.
Legacy Esports. I was thinking, okay, Zen will go for this dribble. Soma might get it, but CJM's in there. It'll be fine. Legacy say no, Hysterics. You're a stooge and a Scrooge McDuck. And Outlaws let that one goal through, and that could be the deciding factor for Game 2.
Oh, with only so little time left on the clock, I do not feel confident for them, and the ball does go down, giving that one goal.
In their goal square as well, Korea. I was looking for Outlaws Gaming to punch it on through, but Legacy Esports take Game 2. And you said they haven't dropped a game so far. Legacy Esports looking to make that a further reality as we go through in this upper bracket.
Yeah, and you can see just how consistent Legacy has become. All of their players, 1 save. All of their players, 3 shots. They're rotating excellently, and it is just showcased on the scoreboard as well.
Legacy Esports 1 game away from moving forward. This is a great outcome if you're Legacy Esports right now. The team that we said, yeah, they might be top 8. You know, there's some rising stars coming through.
Yep.
Excuse me. And Outlaws, I think with the roster, would be going definite top 8. They still have an opportunity. They still have an opportunity. I mean, even if they get sent to that lower bracket, they are still a strong team that are really good on the passing plays. I think we're seeing a lot more control from CJM. I think Orion has stepped up as well.
More like his old self.
Yeah, definitely. Stormclawd, I mean, the coach, I don't know much about him, but I'm sure the coach has a lot to say on the field. Shot caller, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, you'd be crazy not to use him as a shot caller. He knows you all best.
I mean, technically, a shot caller might not be as relevant in Rocket League.
Everyone has comms, so it's all kind of the same.
Yeah,
More call positioning than shot calling.
Stupid Hysterics. This is Korea Lord, by the way, just so you don't get the two of us mixed up and be like, is he calling Hysterics stupid? No, Korea. It's okay.
But yeah, I think even if Outlaws doesn't manage to do the reverse sweep here, the thing that we have learned is they lost the first one 3-2, and they lost this one 1-0. They're playing up against one of the top 4 teams of OCE, so even if they get knocked to the lower bracket, they're going to have a comfortable run to get back.
Remember what Cheeseman said? He said top 3. I mean, these guys could really be pushing the limits here. Outlaws Gaming, something to say nice and early. There we go, breach in defense. Blitz is back up. Great save from the Legacy Esports member, and now they've turned it straight into offense.
Yeah, CJM has been on fire this game, both on offense and defense. Those saves he got holding out the entire Legacy offense before, astounding.
He goes for the challenges, the 50-50 plays. Right here, Outlaws Gaming looking to make more of those in Legacy Esports' defensive side of the field. Orion to take the ball. He's going to have to get on top of it quick. He does, but Soma's there in wait. Hanging around this midfield, Legacy Esports have a really nice spread here, but it looks like they're focusing a lot around this left wing. In comes Blitz right through center field. Zen passes it on back. Soma to hit the ball up. Stormclawd has to be careful. The ball comes to a sudden stop in this corner. Soma there, setting it up for Blitz to drop down. This is really nice from Legacy Esports. And Game 3 looks like a sure thing, just like Game 2.
Yep, they're comfortably taking possession. Outlaws had that quick start, but it's been turned right back to how it's meant to be, with them putting it away with Blitz in that left corner.
And for some reason, those sounds come out of my mouth when I see a Legacy Esports goal. Look at this. Blitz in the right place, the right time, every single goddamn time.
Oh, that was a banger. 112 straight past.
Oh, Korea, that you could say that was the upper 90. Hey? No, he couldn't. One goal for Legacy Esports. Stormclawd is, I mean, is he not providing enough to Outlaws Gaming? Is the roster changes really making a big impact? I feel like the answer right now could be yes, because Legacy seem to have more possession, more aggression, and Outlaws Gaming just don't have a response for it.
It's really hard when you've only had your player playing for a week in your team, even if he was the coach beforehand. You don't have that instinctive rotations and trust that you'd have from playing with these guys.
But there's definitely a level to adapt to. There's definitely Outlaws Gaming who can adapt in the middle of these series. I think they have shown that, so we've seen less goals scored and they've pulled away from the aggression, but it's also them really playing the defensive side of the field instead of actually pushing it to the limit and playing Legacy's game.
Well, that's a hard thing to do. We don't typically have really strong defensive teams here in OCE, and if they can pull this back and punish somebody like they're about to do, that's good to see.
Orion back into defense. I thought Soma was just going to try and take it himself, but Zen is setting it up again and again. Legacy Esports just seem to be one step ahead. It feels like on this game number 3, they could have what it takes with just one goal. Soma! No! God, Legacy! My trousers are wet.
I'll get you a bucket as Soma showcases some beautiful aerial dribbles there. CJM just was not prepared.
I tell you what, Legacy, you can have my Macca's, you can have my cheeseburger, you can have the Monopoly stickers that I get because they're back and every 1 in 5 win, but we're only going to see 3 games, so maybe we're going to have to change the line just a bit.
Ooh, I want some of those delicious nuts.
Oh, you know you do. But Legacy, they're not done, Korea. They may have 2 goals, but they need to make sure it's deciding. Outlaws still have that window of hope, and Legacy are looking to shut it, close it, potentially forever.
Well, Outlaws has struggled with the offense against Legacy. They've taken advantage of mistakes Legacy's making by getting too greedy rather than pushing in so much on their own.
Legacy Esports in game number 3, 2 goals up. Zen showing some style points right here. He pops the ball. It is going to match to Orion. And the beat of his drum right now is saying to go right, go right. For some reason, Legacy are like, yeah, it's our side of the field, dude. Let's see what happens here. 1:45 remaining, and CJM, as he pops the ball through, could be an opening for Outlaws Gaming. Not too sure, however, because Legacy Esports have once again maintained possession. They've brought it down this side of the field, and Zen sets it up nicely. Great defense from CJM, but they're not done just yet. Another clear, this time from Stormclawd. Blitz drops the ball down, and Zen is setting it up for a 3rd time. This is nuts. That's a big bump, and it might open the goal, but intercepted quickly. Legacy's still not done. This offense is mechanically gifted, and it's just insane to watch, Korea.
Yeah, the defense as well is so good, and they're turning it right back around. This is what they need to do, is capitalize on the flipping of pressure after getting such strong defense.
I love how I was just talking Legacy Esports up, almost slipping that one through. Outlaws have a minute left to work with. And they are going to be breached once again. CGM rotates back and Blitz is waiting to send it back up. Here we go, but intercepted midway. Soma in defense. 50 seconds remaining. Outlaws Gaming, this could be one of their last opportunities to get this goal and try and force their way back in this series.
Yes, CJM has been a monster, so if they can just let him showcase what he can do up the front, because we've seen what he can do in goals.
Soma off this backboard will help with the clear again. He gets the speed on the ball, and the tempo is still high for Legacy Esports. With 30 seconds, I think right now we can safely say that Legacy have had control for all 3 games. They've had really the power to take it to Outlaws Gaming, and they have shown here today that they definitely deserve to be in our top 8 for the qualifiers for RLCS.
And league play will be exciting, and maybe we'll see Outlaws later as they make that run in the lower bracket.
5 seconds, that's going to be it. Outlaws Gaming really put it to Legacy Esports, but not before Legacy Esports could close that window, before Outlaws could smell the pie. And I tell you what, it was a nice pie. It was a meat pie. That's how we have it in Australia, right? I'm so sorry, I'd never call it Australia. It's just a thing. Legacy Esports are the winner, though. Let's be honest, that was a good showcase from Legacy.
It certainly was. This is one of the top 4 teams of OCE, pretty much no questions asked. And I'd love to see how far they're going to go.
So, as I bring in our reigning champion, our expert, our RLCS man
Reigning
himself.
champion?
Yeah, you just take the title.
I wish I was the reigning champion.
You got a pocket square. I mean, like, not this jacket.
And you've ruined your jacket as well.
I've ruined-
What's going on, Jake? But
I'm Outlaws Gaming.
you're a bit in shambles, just like Outlaws.
That's it.
Legacy Esports, as we thought, they came in incredibly strong. What I saw from them, that they're normally playing really fast. They overcommit and they send 2 people. But today, they were able to hold back, and that's why they were able to keep so much pressure on Outlaws. They were in defense most of that game.
Yeah, and a defense they held very well considering Legacy is performing at that level.
They did hold really well, CJM especially.
Yep.
A lot of clutch saves there.
Yeah.
But if you're just sitting there in net making save after save, you're not getting those clears out. They needed those defensive passes. They needed to get down to the other end of the pitch, and that's where Adzi would have helped a lot. He knows where to be on that team. Stormclawd, not quite in their rotation.
Yeah, I was going to ask what Stormclawd's actually providing to Outlaws Gaming now, because he didn't have much of an impact that game.
He didn't have too much of an impact, but that's going to be a huge advantage for them to get that game, to get those 3 games, I should say, and to go down to the lower bracket and potentially win against a lesser opponent, so that they have more time to work on their rotations and get up to speed for the next qualifying match.
I think what we saw there was that Outlaws Gaming still look a lot cleaner than teams potentially like Clarity and Lynx. I think that Outlaws have a long way to go, but in the same sense, it was just Legacy stepping up more so than Outlaws kind of falling back.
Yeah.
Legacy, that was the best performance I think I've ever seen from them.
I mean, they're the big 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're expected to make it. They've qualified, so congratulations
That's right.
already through to Legacy. But the real test for them comes in the future. And even though they're playing well now, they need to play well up against those other the other 5, I guess.
Yep.
So, stacking things up, you said potential top 3 before we went in, Cheeseman. You said that it's going to be 3-0. You said that Legacy are pushing
They've been
up.
taking series off the top 3.
Yep.
They could definitely make it through.
Yep.
But they're still not in that place right now where I could say that they're a top 2.
Okay, but there's room for improvement, yes?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Good. So, Legacy Esports. Done. Legacy Esports.
They've won.
Gonna
They're
go
already
through.
at RLCS.
That's right. They're in. We just put them in.
Easy, easy.
They will be going through to our top 8, and a big congratulations to Legacy Esports, who put on a showcase that game. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have another small break of 5 minutes, but when we return at the road to RLCS, the OCE Championship, we've got a lot more coming your way. Don't go anywhere. I hope it's as good as the last one.